Let's try that now. What's up, family? It is Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. That means it's time for MidLink. This is your midweek connection for inspiration, for truth, for things that you can use and that will certainly be impactful for your life. I'm Pastor Ty, and as always, I love to remind you God is up to something big in your life, something B-I-G, best in God. I'm so excited about tonight. It's going to be amazing. Well, we're in the month of June and we've kicked off this interview style series, and we have some phenomenal guests. And last week, Corey Carter, he set the tone for what we're doing. You need to go back and check that out if you haven't already. And tonight we have the man himself. Man, y'all see in a minute. Y'all just got to stay tuned. We don't even put them on the screen yet, Princess. Y'all got. We got somebody tonight. If you log off tonight, you are doing yourself a disservice. He's going to, listen. It's going to be amazing. But before we get into all of that, y'all know what we do around here. We do something we call our check-in. Check-in. Y'all know what the check-in is. It's simply just coming into the room saying hello, greeting one another. How you doing? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, good day, ma'am, sir, whatever you want to say. You can do that depending on where you're watching. Even if you're watching this by way of replay, I want you to check in. Come on, jump in the comment section with your emojis and all the other good stuff and let us know that you are here. Good evening, Miss Greta Swain said, hey, good evening to you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'm telling you, it's going to be a blessing. What's up, Francesca Rogers? What's up, Shay? Good. Who we got checking in? Hey, what's up, Pastor Ty and the family? What's up, Dr. Tiffany? Thank you so much for being on with us this evening. Tiffany Spears, good evening to you. Thank you so much for being on. Hey, Mother Myrtle Dillon's on. Good evening to you, ma'am. Sylvia Howard, good day to you. Thank you so much for being with us on this amazing evening. Bruce Howard, what's up, Bruce? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being on. Bruce got the big B-Day coming up in a few days. Blessings to you, man. You got the hand. Hold on, I almost missed it. I always look for that first hand. They go to the little shakes, the tambourine, whatever. Somebody had to, hey, there it is. We got it. Okay. Denise Shelvin, hey, Denise Shelvin, thanks so much for being with us. Blessings to you. Dr. Zeldra V, good to see you on, ma'am. Blessings to you. Thanks for joining us. Hey, hello to you, Shalonda. Good to see you on as well. Hey, there's Tracy78. Hey, there it is. There's another hand. Thank you so much for being on with us. Hey, everyone. That's what Drika says. Ain't she cool on her profile picture? Y'all cool. Pink down. Okay, yeah, good to see you on. What's up, Travion Rooks? Onyxia says that's her pastor. Hey, Onyxia. Hey, so much for I see you, girl. Blessings to you. That's my girl right there. Hey, good to see you. All right, good evening. That's my wife right there, y'all. Tanisha Dillon's on. She said, good evening, everyone. Blessings to everybody. Hey, what's up, Travion and the whole crew? Blessings to everybody. Mother Francis Course checking in. Hey, good evening, blessed people. We received that. All right, everybody, I need you to do me a huge favor. Once we say what's up to LaShonda Brewster, then we're going to do the what's up, Shonda Brewster. Good to see you on. I need everybody to do me a huge favor. What's up, Aunt Swain? I need you to make sure that you like, make sure that you share, make sure that your notification bell is on, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you are on YouTube, and make sure that you are following us, man, wherever other platform. What's up, young lady? How are you doing? Thanks so much for being on with us. God bless you. It's great to see you on with us today. Hey, Cheryl Core, good to see you on as well. Good evening to you. Everybody like, share, do all that stuff you need to do. You know, it's not a competition for us as it relates to popularity, but we believe that every like is a life. Every share is a soul. So we want to get this out to as many people as possible, and we need your help to get it done. Just a reminder, immediately following this, we are jumping on our prayer line for something we call Recharge. And Recharge is it's a listen live line. What does that mean? You just call in and you listen and you can receive. Man, you can hear some testimonies. We'll receive communion, that type of thing. And so it's a powerful, impactful time of prayer. And so what we do is we get on MidLink and then we go to the prayer line, man, and we pray that thing through. So we want you to be a part of that. Call in tonight, 609-663-0482. Call in 609-663-0482. You don't have to do anything but receive and be blessed. Y'all, it's almost that time is Father's Day weekend. So this Father's Day weekend, we are doing a Father's fishing event, fishing with fathers. And so if you'd like to be a part of that, you need to sign up and register today. Like today is the cutoff. I kind of snuck and extended it. Don't tell nobody. You know, it's supposed to be over today by the end of the day, but I'm sneaking y'all in there. So if you need to do it, don't tell nobody. All right. So I need you to get in. The link will be in the comment section and you can register. And then that form or that ability to register is going to close tonight. And so you need to do that. If you are a part of the People Place Church and for whatever reason you have a different family dynamic, but you would like your child to attend, please reach out to us so that we can work through that process. If you are not a part of the People Place Church, we are going to ask you to accompany your child in being part of that. And you'll find out the ages and all that stuff once you register. And so, but if you want to be a part, it's going to be a phenomenal event. Of course, I want to invite everybody to come out and be a part of what's happening at the People Place Church. I just launched a new series this past Sunday, and it's called B. It's called B, from Acts chapter 1 and verse 8. When the Holy Spirit comes upon you, you will be my witnesses. I believe that the power of God is designed to transform us, into that which we were not prior to interacting with him. And so it's a lesson you don't want to miss. You need to be there. 201 George Wallace Drive is where we are located at the venue at Coosa Landing. Worship begins at 10 o'clock a.m. Lastly, but certainly not leastly, we have some amazing guests. You want to log in. You want to stay connected tonight. Then on next week, we're going to have a phenomenal young lady on. Her name is Chelsea Tatum. She's going to be with us. You don't want to miss it. So mark your calendars. We got something every week, man. We got heavy hitters every week. And so you want to make sure that you're on it. Tonight is no different. This I was a young man. He's pretty young. This young man who's on with us tonight. He's going to share some amazing things with us. He's a financial advisor, growth and development director. Man, he, on top of that, he's a believer. He has a heart for people. And after talking to him on the phone and us having a conversation, I said, oh, we got to look out because we might be on here all night, both of us, because we just have so much passion. And, you know, liberating and building people is my thing. And it seems to be his as well. So I'm so glad to have him with us tonight. Man, get ready for you get some insight. Get ready for your life to be changed. Get ready to really receive in the area of financial increase. He's going to give us some tools, some techniques, some nuggets tonight that's going to be amazing. Can you jump in the comment section and help me welcome Mr. Ravoyl? There he is.
All right.
How you doing?
I appreciate it. I am doing fantastic. Just so excited to be here and spending some time with you. And hopefully I won't get you in trouble because, you know, I love to talk.
Now, if anybody's going to be getting anybody in trouble, it's going to be me, you know. So you're going to have to reel us back in. You told Princess and the producer in the back, say, hey, Princess, you know, just take us off the screen if we just can't stop, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and run the credits at the end, you know what I mean? So,
absolutely. The wrap it up box, the wrap
it on up. You know? Yeah, exactly. It's a blessing to have you. And I'm excited about you being with us tonight. This is certainly a topic and a discussion that's near and dear to us. And before we just jump into it, tell us about who you are. Tell us, you know, as much as you want us to know, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. So I am originally from Louisiana. I traveled a lot with a previous employer, and that's how I ended up in Birmingham.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I was born in Louisiana.
Look, I'm gonna really throw you a curveball. I was born in Ruston. My family's from Grambling, Louisiana.
Wow. Okay.
So
All right.
most of my family are all Gramblingites. I graduated from Louisiana Tech, and so growing up a Louisiana boy, traveled all over the place. Lived in Arkansas for a little while. Met my wife in Little Rock while I was there. Moved to
Yes.
Missouri. Lived in Joplin. Lived in Wichita, Kansas. Back to Louisiana, and then now here. And the original game plan was when I got here. It was me and my wife. We're only going to be here for
Louisiana in the
2 years.
house. You see that, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so I was going to be here 2 years, and that's what I'm like. Yeah, Grant GSU. But yeah, I was supposed to be here 2 years, and here we are. Many years later, my kids born here: Tyler, Taylor.
Wow.
My son's 17. My daughter's about to be 15. So I've got now you might as well say a sophomore and a senior
Wow.
in the house, and
Yeah.
just loving it. That's probably the biggest motivation for me, trying to change the future for my family, because
Yeah.
where we grew up in Louisiana was not, with some country people, you know what I'm saying? So small town, grew up out there, and just looking to make an impact for my family. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me. As
Yeah.
for what I do today, financial advisor, Northwestern Mutual. I'm a certified financial planner, also a chartered financial consultant, as well as a certified life underwriter. So all those fancy titles just mean I know how to pass a lot of tests and I can answer a lot of questions, and that's what that is. But really, that's that going after all that, all those designations and education was, I wanted to better serve us. I wanted to have all the information
Man.
accessible to me, and then what I don't have knowledge of, I can reach out into the pool of experts that surround me, because it's not just me, it's my firm.
Yeah.
And I bring in experts off the shelf periodically for special situations that we run across. And my goal, and why I love this opportunity so much, is we are just dying for this kind of information. It's not been shared
Yeah.
at this level.
Yeah.
And so having an opportunity to share this is just amazing for me. And thank you, everybody. I'm not ignoring the comments. Thank you,
Yeah, you good.
for the
You're good.
welcome.
Yeah, they'll be commenting, man, the whole time. So just do what you got to do. That's why we do the shout outs on the front end to try to, acknowledge everybody. So thank you, everybody, for being on. And I love that. And I'm listening. I said, that's the connection there. I'm listening to you, and you can hear in just even in your introduction, just what your priority is. You could have went straight to the resume, straight to the accolades, straight to this, the letters behind your names. Like, no, hey, this is my family, this and the other. This is what means everything to me. And here's the why about my life. And I think the why is so vitally important. On top of, we've got that Louisiana connection now that I know, and then the Northwest Mutual Life, the Milwaukee connection. So, man, it was just meant
Yes,
to be. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So yeah, you said something that was so key, and I talked about this a little bit. I mean, I'll talk about it quite often, but I mentioned it most recently in church on Sunday, and I was talking about in many cases um, the challenge that we have. There is a lack of information. The gap is okay. The how tos. How do I implement this? What are the strategies necessary? How do I break from this consumer mindset? To have an understanding that even I can take the little and manage the little well, and it can ultimately become the much. Over time. And what does that mean? Because a lot of times it's not that we don't have those resources, because all you have to do is look in our closets, or how we pull up, or where we're driving. It's a different mindset and mentality that we've got to embrace. But that information piece is so vitally important. So can you talk a little bit just about that and how important that is to have the information?
It's interesting. Um, when I started going down that path of all those studies and gathering those letters and things like that, it can sound so complex, and you can make this seem so difficult. but it's really very simple principles, and it's really very simple things. I found out the more I studied is the more I learned or realized I'm more of a trainer or a coach to try and help you stay on track, because to have success financially, you've got to practice discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the key. It's discipline.
Yeah.
And having structure. You know, I jokingly say this all the time. Man, Edgar's has a chokehold on me. You know, I'm trying to get my waist down about 3-4 inches. Edgar's, I'm in a constant battle. But what is it really boiling down to? It's just discipline.
Yeah.
You know what to do. It's just being disciplined to do it. So, in order to be successful, it all starts simply with knowing, being crystal clear and knowing exactly where am I? Where am I today? So how do we do that? Find out your budget. So it goes back to what's coming into the house, right? And then where's it all going? And getting really crystal clear on that. And then assigning a job description to every single dollar.
Yeah, I love that.
And when you assign a job description to all your dollars, it becomes really easy. Yeah. And I teach, when we have interns that are coming in for the summer, and I had one I met with today. He's going to speak to his church. He said they got excited when they saw what he was doing, and he said they want me to speak to the, high schoolers and middle schoolers. What do you think I should talk about? I said, well, teach them this. And I drew $1 on the board, $1. I said, if you can master this, you'll be wealthy. You'll be wealthy. All you do is you take $1 and you subtract 10 cents out. Where does that first 10 cents go?
Yeah, it goes to the Lord.
Goes to the Lord.
Yeah.
Right. So we're tithing.
Yeah.
I said, now what do we do after that? We subtract 20 cents out next. And that goes to you saving and investing. Mm-hmm. That leaves 70 cents in every dollar. Here's where most people get it wrong. That 70 cents isn't enough. They want $1.10. Yeah. So they cut out the tithing, cut out their saving. They spend too much. But if you learn to live within that 70 cents, pay your rent, pay your bills, pay your taxes, whatever it is you got going on, pay it all out of that 70 cents. Life is going to be easy for you.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Y'all got enough right there. We could sign off. We won't, but we could. That's enough right there. But it's what you said. It's the discipline. Yeah, it's the discipline, and that's one of my statements. Is the issue is not the dollars; it's the discipline. Mm-hmm. You can get all the dollars, and if you don't have the disciplines, it's a matter of time before you'll squander it. Or you can take a person and they're making what seems to be a minimum or meager type of income. How are they doing all that with that amount of money? And it's really having the wherewithal to say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. And one of my favorite definitions for discipline was by the man himself, Iron Mike Tyson. And so Mike Tyson said, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing like you love it. Yep. And he would know, just from an athlete standpoint, I'm sure there's times you don't feel like getting in the ring, or times you don't feel like working out and training, but we see the fruit of it in his heyday, who he was, and the legend that he is, so likewise financially. And I love the way you boiled it down to $1, boil it down to $1. And it's funny, we're in June and we're doing this interview style, but leading up to this, we have been taking these nuggets. I did a series called Can You Handle It? Mm-hmm. And it was about stewardship and management of time, talent, treasure, tongue, all those things. Yeah. And from Luke 16, what you do with the little is what you do with the much, that type of thing. And that's exactly the principle that you just drew out. How are you going to manage this $1? Okay, now replicate that in the next dollar, replicate that in $10, $50, $100, the discipline. So it doesn't matter how many zeros it is. No, this is how I manage money, period. So, what do you think? So you use this word, this B word. It wasn't a vulgar word, but it was, and you said budget. Yes. You said budget. How important is a budget? And we can assume that everyone knows what that is, but just can you break that down to us lowest common denominator. What does that budget look like? Everybody P&L statements, you got this over here, but a budget, just give it to us 099 basic. What is that?
Super duper basic. We need to think about hard, fast bills. Things like I got to pay a rent, or my rent, my mortgage. I got to pay insurance, whatever forms of insurance you have. I've got to pay utilities, right? I've got to have my phone. Okay. So those are hard, fast bills that we have to have. We need to have those written down and understand roughly, because they're going to fluctuate, with the utilities, but we need to understand that. We have other expenses that come out regularly, such as maybe some healthcare type stuff, long-term care type stuff, whatever that is. But we need to itemize where every dollar is going, because, and I'm gonna get back to the budget, but oftentimes when I'll ask people, what are you spending? I'll get a number like, it takes me about $3,000 a month. And I'm always, are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm positive. So I'll pop up a little budget tool on the screen and start saying, let's just talk through it. What's your mortgage? What's your utilities? What's your telephone? What's your cable? What's your internet? What's this? What's this? And before we even get to the food and entertainment and gas, we're at $3,000.
Yeah. So you ain't even ate yet, man.
You hadn't had a bite to eat. And you 3, but we're at 3 and you haven't eaten yet.
Yeah.
So most recently, I had one situation where they told me 3, and when we were done typing it all up, it was 5,700.
Oh wow, they almost double what they had in their mind. Yeah.
And so oftentimes we miss things, and then here's what that budget still doesn't account for. It doesn't account for when you tip somebody cash. It doesn't account for when you just ran in a convenience store real quick. It doesn't account for when you bought some donuts or some candy to support that charity that you saw outside the store.
Right.
So really, when we look at it, we're spending a lot more money than we think. And how it manifests itself is frustration in how come I can't get ahead? Why is it always seeming like I got more month than money?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it manifests itself in all these other areas that cause friction. And so getting really crystal clear on where your money's going is the first step to figuring out how to be financially successful. So going through the budget, those are all the main things. And then on the discretionary side, we need to know, what are we sending out to charitable areas? What are we sending out, our tithing? What are we setting aside to travel? What are we saving? What are we putting in our rainy day fund? Where are we putting these different dollars? Where are they? And once you tally it up and you see it, sometimes it can be really eye-opening and shocking.
Yeah, that is, and I think it's fine. It's in those small spend. All I did was, I'll never forget just coming to this realization myself as a single man, coming to this realization, and I'm not cooking and stuff like that, man. But breakfast, spend a couple dollars, lunch, a little hungry. Then you got to get something to eat before you go to bed, 3 times a day. And so you say on the light side, this back in the day, like I told you last week was 21 years. Hey, shout out to my sweetheart. June 8th was 21 years of wonderful marriage. Hey, sweetheart, I love you. All right, I'm back. Okay, so so it's a long time ago. So let's just say $10 every time you hit the drive-through. So $30 a day. Let's just say you're only doing that 5 days a week, but you're really doing it every day. But we're just gonna go 5 days, and that's $150. Let's say it's 4 weeks. Man, I'm like, what in the world is going on? 150 turns to 300, turns to 450 to 600, and you're looking like, what in the, just from going through the drive-through?
Yes.
And it was just eye-opening, man. It was eye-opening. There you go. This is my shout out back right there.
Yep, there it is.
So, it was just eye-opening, man. You're spending $30 a day, $150 a week, times 4, and what could you be doing with that? And I think a lot of times we misappropriate these funds, and they're just so easily, especially when we're using debit cards and all that, when we don't feel the pain of breaking that 100 or breaking that 50. You just I got $100 in the bank. I got $100 in the bank. I got $100 in the bank. I got 100. You like
Yep.
you had, but you're swiping and you don't feel that. So how important and you know is budgeting an option, or is that something that's like mandatory?
That's really mandatory because until you think about it like this is the way I look at it. Would you run a business and never check your cash drawer?
Right, right. Yeah,
You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
You always want to know where you stand.
yeah,
That's how you figure out, am I profitable or not? Am I making it? And if you
yeah,
don't know where your money's going, it's tough.
yeah.
And here's what happens. Time has a way of just sliding by so fast.
Oh
And
yeah.
you look up and 10 years have passed and it'll shock you. So let me give you a real life example.
Okay.
I was sitting here with a couple and we're looking at their balance sheet. And for math purposes, I'm going to use this number.
Right.
After taxes, $100,000 hits their bank account every year.
Wow. Okay.
So
Yeah.
after taxes, after
Yeah.
putting money back for healthcare, 401k, between the couple, 100 grand comes through their bank account.
Yeah.
Now they've been doing this for at least 10 years. Now the reality is it's more money than that because
Yeah.
of increase, but we're keeping it simple.
Yeah.
10 years of this.
$1 million.
So that's $1 million.
Yeah. All day.
Why then is there $20,000 plus in credit card debt? We owe 2 car notes. We still have a big mortgage. We have personal loans. We have student loans.
Wow.
Why do we have debt? And liquidity wise, we have less than $5,000 available.
Oh wow.
Okay. This is normal in America. This is normal. And I asked him, I said, well, if I would have come through and put a net under your checking account and I just would have captured 10%, 10 cents, and put it somewhere in a coffee can and buried it in the backyard, I'd have 100 grand. So
Yeah.
I have more money than you, right?
Wow.
You saved
Yeah.
up, right? Because a lot of times they'll say, well, I want to learn to invest. I got to invest to make money. I said, no. This is why going back to why I said the budget's so important. You got to be a great saver
Yeah.
before you can be an investor,
Yeah.
because you can't afford to invest if you can't even save.
Yeah. Wow.
And so by me capturing 10%, even if it didn't make a dime, I'm doing better.
Yeah.
But imagine if we were great savers over the same 10 years, using the rule of 72, that same money would have doubled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
why that budget is so important.
Yeah.
That's what we see.
Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. And you went, if you can, kind of just a order of how do I do this? Somebody's watching tonight.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna put in a little commercial here. He's gonna be with us on Monday. We're doing a life lab. A life lab is gonna be video conference style, where you're gonna be able to ask some questions and different things like that. It's gonna be a more intimate setting. This communication right now is pretty much one way. You can comment and all of that, but you'll be able to have your face on the screen, talk to him. You need to make sure that you go ahead and register. If you haven't registered, and you pop that up for us, Princess, you can go ahead and register. You can text Life Lab to 94,000. Text Life Lab, all one word, Life Lab to 94,000. And man, that will get you registered. That will get you in the room. It's completely free. What? This type of information, free? Man, if you don't jump on this, you need to make sure you're in the room. Okay, now, but if you can give us just a little bit of nuggets, if I am, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Am I focused on saving? Am I focused on investing in the stock market? Am I focused on paying off my debts? Should my focus be, trying to increase my income? Where do I start?
Absolutely. That's a great question. My focus always when I'm helping someone is cash is king, right? So what I'm looking at is, what can I control? What's in my control right now? Well, I can control my emergency fund. You got to have an emergency fund.
Yeah.
That's what creates so many more problems snowballs the debt and things that happen later. So having an emergency fund is one area we would focus on. Attacking high interest debt, those any kind of debt that's not attached to an asset, that needs to go. Okay, so emergency fund, attacking debt. On the investing side, early on, it's putting money into a company, match on a 401k plan up to the match. We can talk through the differences between a Roth and traditional, but putting something over there. And then also checking my defense. Okay. I want to understand what would happen if I couldn't work because I'm sick. What does my job say I get? So getting crystal clear around my group benefits, understand them, because the worst time to find out how it works is when you need it.
Yeah.
So you want to know beforehand. So we want to understand our group benefits, understand what we have. For the men, I always tell them, hey, listen, if you got a family to support, get the right amount of insurance on you. Because here's what I learned, and this is me being fully transparent. I didn't understand life insurance, and no one taught it to me.
Right.
But I had a wife and kids, and the way the guy explained it to me before I came to this world, he was like, if you're not properly covered, you're leaving your family in a lurch. And here's what I mean. Because my running joke, I always said, but it was true. I thought this at one point. I was like, man, I'm not trying to have a whole bunch of life insurance so my wife can be back feeding somebody else some grapes. so he laughed at me and said, well, no, here's why you need life insurance. Can your wife maintain the same lifestyle you have? I said, well, it'd be a little tough. She have to go to work. He said, right. So your kids would lose you. We can't replace you. Now your wife's got to go to work harder to keep up. So they now lose mom.
Wow.
She may have to sell that house. And if she has to sell that house, they lose the house that they were living in, right? Yeah. Might even have to move school districts to get a house they can afford. So now all 4 things that were stable in their life, you took it away from them because you didn't plan. Yeah. So for the guys, I'm always like, listen, make sure you got enough to take care of your family, because if something happens to you. So that's where I would start, looking at my defensive posture, making sure I got an emergency fund, making sure I'm attacking debt. On the offensive side, I'm putting a little bit in my 401k, and then I'm making sure I understand what happens in my world if I go down or don't make it home unexpectedly.
Yeah. So let's camp out right there just for a little bit, and shout out to all the men. Shout out to the fathers going to Father's Day weekend, that type of thing. One of the things that we have been tasked with as fathers is to take on those types of responsibilities, and that's just part of who God has called us to be. We getting there, and we coming to you, and I see you. And so, taking on that particular responsibility, and that's just part of our assignment. You talking about not knowing these things, man. I didn't know some of these things. Many of us on here didn't know some of these things, and that's part of my assignment, even as a pastor, because I found out, there's a lot of times we have the spiritual part of the church part, but it's, Jesus said, hey, surely the children of darkness has been wiser than the children of light. He said, hey, man, there's some principles they got that y'all hadn't gotten. And we like, preaching that the widow when she poured the oil and the oil kept flowing, she borrowed from her neighbors. But when you rewind that, she went to the man of God because she said, my husband love you. So where's the balance in that? You know what I mean? So part of our assignment is to close that information gap. And so that's why we're doing this tonight on MidLink. And if you haven't shared, if you haven't liked, if you haven't done those things, please do that. It doesn't cost you anything. We want to get this out to as many people as we possibly can. But you went somewhere, you went with the insurance. You said having enough life insurance. And so how much is enough? And what does that look like? And Ant jumped ahead of us. It's term, whole life, what does that look like?
So now this is the worst answer to give, but it's the best answer in my world. It really depends. It's an individual thing.
Gotcha.
As far as the best type of insurance between term and whole, I always jokingly say it's the one that's enforced when you die. That's the best one to have. Right. But here's the difference. Term is like renting. So it's always cheaper on the front end, but gets more expensive over time. Whole life is like owning. So like owning a home is more expensive on the front end, but gets cheaper over time because of the growth of it and how the cost works. But when I look at it, most people own more term because of this affordability. Mm-hmm. Where you see whole life incorporated in planning, it's usually because of legacy. The biggest purchasers of whole life insurance are actually in their 60s. And the reasoning is there's a shift in the mindset. There are things that we care about more than. I learned that early. I learned that when my mom started talking about her grandkids, or my kids and my brother's kids. I would take my kids there and say, I don't know who this lady is, but she wants to hang out with you. That's not the lady that raised me. But that's where the thinking shifts. Mm-hmm. Now there's things you care about, and her thought was legacy for them. Mm-hmm. So with whole life, there's a place for it in the planning. It usually comes up in the conversation in terms of how you're trying to use it. The right amount. Usually the rule of thumb you'll hear in the market is get 10 to 20 times your income. Mm. Whatever you make, 10 to 20 times, because the money goes a lot faster than you would imagine. When you start adding up the cost of funeral, final expenses, there's money set aside for the family to, if something happens to me, I want my wife to have the ability, if she can't make it for a month because she's broken up, be at home for a month and not have to worry. But having enough to pay off all the debt, educate kids perhaps, and then also leave a stream of income. And that's usually the piece that people forget about, the income need that comes later. You can purchase insurance for that. And then some people, you've heard it, man, how did this person leave this much to this university? Or how did this person leave this much to their church? Well, a lot of times they'll carve out life insurance and they'll use a whole life policy to leave to the things they care about the most. Right. Yeah. And so that's a lot of times when you'll see those whole life policies and things like that come to play. Yeah. And that affects the amount.
Absolutely. This is good stuff. This is valuable information because, like you said, a lot of times we don't have an understanding of some of these things. And again, we'll get in more details in Life Lab, and then we'll also make sure that your information is out there. So, people may be interested in your services, that type of thing. And so I hope they would be, and they take full advantage of that. And so that life insurance piece is a huge piece. And again, that's one of those things where, I'm not necessarily shocked, but it concerns me when people start talking about they can't afford that. And I watch some of the other choices that we make, and it's like, man, get at least enough for your family. You don't have to be trying to have the meeting in the back of the funeral home and finance you hitting them one more time on the way out. You go one more piece of debt. You know what I mean? So that's at a minimum, that's something that we need to. And then we kind of be spooky with everything, man. So I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Well, if you notice, ain't nobody stayed here, so. So prayerfully, it's a long time, but eventually, you know what I mean? So
look, death's batting 1,000. Ain't nobody made out here alive yet. So you got to have something. And right. I saw the comment 10 times your income. Yes, you'd be surprised because, a lot of times we feel like you'll hear a number like, well, I got 50, 100,000. I got this. That's good. You'd be amazed at how things add up and what things really cost. And when you see the math shows you exactly what it is. And that's when the light bulb goes off like, aha. But, the way I like people to think about it is $1 million policy seems like a lot, but I challenge you this way. If, Pastor Ty, if I gave you $1 million and said you cannot work again, can't do a thing from today going forward, right? But you got to take this $1 million and figure out how to make it last the rest of your life, would you take that deal?
Right. No. Right.
The only time $1 million is a lot of money is when you're continuing to be gainfully employed, income's coming in, life is good, and it just swoops in and it's a windfall.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, man, we can't get into the stream part of the insurance and all that. Y'all got to come to the Life Lab. Y'all gonna have to get in the Life Lab, because it's gonna be some detailed things that need to be shared there. But I'm just listening to you and kind of explaining that. I want to ask you, this is kind of a personal question. Was the way that person explained to you life insurance, was that the mindset change for you?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Because immediately I thought about my kids. I thought about, man, it would be kind of tough if I wasn't here, because again, what brought me here was I was the regional manager of the company I was. So, my wife was at home at the time. She was.
Yeah, because I'm saying you're not the only one. Listen, before I went into full-time ministry, I was in the barbershop, for about 18 years or something like that. And I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, Jody or whatever they want to name him. He ain't finna be at home in my road, hanging out with my wife. Like, nah, man, I'm not finna have that insurance all stacked up and they just chilling on me. So it's a mindset thing.
It is.
So that thing kind of woke you up and at least shifted your mindset on like, okay, no, it's not about that. Let's recalibrate our focus.
I viewed it as I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I said, I really do care about my kids. I do care about my family. And when I started adding up all the money I was spending on the weekends with friends and going to play a round of golf, I was like, I could carve out one of those meals, going to Perry's for dinner, taking the family to Perry's. Heck, Perry's paid for several months.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Man, our time is drawing close. Now, I know you said, that budgeting piece of it is important. That emergency fund piece is certainly important. Making sure that we're putting some up. If we're not living, what it say, hand to mouth. We're not making sure that we are not eating everything that comes in our hands. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Bible says God gives us seed to the sower and bread. You know what I mean, for food. So we got to determine what's for investing, what's for eating, what's for consuming, that type of thing. So all the financial principles are there in the scriptures. As a believer, we've just got to take them and for face value and for what God is saying and see him work in our lives. So you gave us all these things. You even went into the insurance piece of it. But I want to kind of hit this just if we can, just before we go. There's been some changes in the market and some different things. We don't know a whole lot about the market. I don't claim to be an expert by any means. But what I do know is that it has been consistent over time.
Yes.
And sometimes I think if we don't have like that windfall, like you said, or when I get this, then I'll put it in there. How important is that compounded consistency, or just, a little becoming much when you talk about maybe the market or investing in those type things?
My mindset on that is the best time to invest and save was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The second best time to do it is today.
Yeah.
You got to put seeds in your pocket are no good. You got to put them in the ground.
Good.
You got to plant them.
That's
you got to plant them.
Yeah.
And I look at money as seeds. And if you don't take that money from a savings account or from wherever you're holding it and put it into the market, if you look from 1926 to 23, if you look at the stock market, stocks are up 10%.
Wow.
After taxes and inflation, 6%. Yeah. When you look at cash is negative 1% over the same time period. Yeah. So if that doesn't paint a clear enough picture as to why you need to be invested and how that compounding works, I've got this right here on my wall is just an average mutual fund. If you would have put $10,000 in this average mutual fund in 1926 and just let it sit to now, right now that says you'd have $47 million with nothing, with not another dime invested in it. Yeah. 10,000 goes to 47 million. Yeah. That's just proof that we need to put money in a place, leave it alone, don't touch it. I always say it's like planting a seed in the ground and digging it up the next day, see if you got roots in it. Leave it alone. Don't disturb it. Let it grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. This has been good. This has been phenomenal. He's really just scratched the surface. Now, I don't know exactly where he's going to go Monday during this Life Lab, but he was telling me something on the phone about this building your financial house, and I don't know if that's where he's going to go, but I'm telling you, it's a very potent but practical insight on where you can get started. You need to be in that room for the Life Lab, but you got to register to be a part of it. Real simple, text Life Lab to 94,000. Now, when you text, they'll send you to a form, and when you put your information, it's only like one or two fields, but there's a third one that says, what do you expect to get from this Life Lab? And that just gives us insight on direction and that type of thing. So please, ma'am or sir, if you'll fill that part out as well, but make sure that you tell your friends, go ahead and screenshot this and share it. And because as much as we can get this information out to individuals, the better we're going to be, because we can have the dollars. If we don't have the discipline, then it's going to be a problem for us. And we see that with many celebrities, many athletes and all of that, and they get millions and millions of dollars, and then they're broke shortly after their career, some before they even retire, and they have to keep playing injured and everything to try to make it work. So it's not just the dollars, it's the discipline. And you can start where you are. You can start. He said the best time was 20 years ago, but the second best time, since we can't go back 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. So what are you willing to do right now? And you don't want to jump out there just doing something. You need a strategy. You need someone who's vetted, someone who is an expert at this, that can talk you through the process. And that's exactly who Mr. Ravoyl is. And he's going to give you some insight, and you'll be able to ask some questions. Come with your questions. He'll be able to pour into you, share some things with you. And I'm telling you, I believe that your better is on this way. But if you can be trusted with the little, what are you going to do with what you have? And I believe the first thing you need to do is take full advantage of this free Life Lab. Go ahead and register. Text Life Lab, LIFELAB, to 94,000. Again, that's going to be on Monday, June 17th. We're going to start about 6:30 p.m. And it's going to be an amazing time. Mr. Land, thank you very much for being with us today. I appreciate the things that you shared. I know, your mouth is just watering. You're just getting started. He's like, man, that's my intro. I
kept looking at the clock going, man, why is this time moving so fast?
That's why who playing with my clock, man? What are y'all doing?
Somebody speeding it up.
Yeah. Well, we'll get in that Life Lab on Monday, and we won't hold you all night, but we certainly will be, at your disposal, and however you want to function with that. And you all, can't you hear his heart for this? I love when you have mindset and skill set when it comes together. That's something special. He has the skill set, but he's got the right mindset to help people, especially our people. So I'm telling you, get in the room, get the information. Man, I believe that everybody that comes in the room, you're going to leave with some strategy you're going to be financially better that night, because you're going to have a plan, or you're going to have some direction. It's going to be phenomenal. If you haven't registered, you need to go ahead and make sure you're registered. Again, thank you so much for being with us. They're thanking you in the comment section. We appreciate you. I see you backstage. Everybody, thank you all for being with us tonight. Didn't I tell you? Did I tried to told you, as they say. I did not tell you that he was going. Man, he dropped some bombs on us. If you came in late, you need to go back, listen to that again. You need to make sure that, that you get everything that you needed to get. We'll make sure that we put information in the comment section, that type of thing. But you need to get on that Life Lab so that you can get connected with what's going on. There's some tremendous things that are happening. Valuable information, life-changing information, not just for you. Deuteronomy 30:19 says, I said before you life and death, choose life that you and your seed may live. He gave us some stuff that will impact generations if we do it right, that we can leave an inheritance for our children's children if we do it right. And we can start right where we are. Hey, don't forget, we're here every single Wednesday for MidLink, 7:00 p.m. Make sure you're here on time. We've always got something you're going to leave better than you came. Next week's guest is Chelsea Tatum. She's going to be on, and she's going to she's going to drop some stuff on us that's going to be such a blessing. Don't forget, if you want to go fishing with us, you need to sign up tonight. Don't put it off. You need to make sure you do that. And then also, we'd love to see you on Sunday at the People Place Church. New sermon series called B. It will certainly bless your life. For those of you who believe in the power of prayer, we're getting ready to shift and go over to our prayer line for recharge. We'd love for you to join us starting at 8:00. In less than 10 minutes, we're going to be over there praying, man. We're going to pray. And our focus tonight is going to be increase. It's going to be resources. We're going to pray in the same vein that we talked tonight, that God give us wisdom and financial strategies and all that. So if you want to receive that kind of blessing, you need to make sure that you call. All you got to do is call and listen. You don't have to say or do anything. Just call and receive. Now, those of you who believe in kingdom principles when it comes to our finances, one of the things he says the first 10%, he said, was tithe, giving our tithe. And so if you believe in sowing and reaping, we want to give you an opportunity to sow into this amazing ministry called the People Place Church. You can do it through Cash App, the People Place Church. You can do it on our website, peopleplace.net, or the peopleplacechurch.com. You can do it through Zelle, or you can mail in your donation there on our P.O. Box 1577, Gadsden, Alabama 35902. If you like to do that, we would say thank you in advance for your generous donation. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off with that. It's my prayer that the Lord would bless you, that he would bless you indeed. My prayer is that he would enlarge your territory, that his hand would be on you and with you. He will keep you from evil and from harm. Hey, I love you all. Can't wait to talk to you real soon, everybody. Be blessed.